We've worked with a couple
Yeah,
people who've
okay.
been involved.
I think it's a great thing, but it's like it's become, in my view, just a little too like packaged. Like now you do this, now you do that. But that's just my view, and my comrades here, Lisa and Jesse, are both into it. So we adopted that as a method of beginning to organize. And we've had so far 3 potlucks, and each one has attracted between 24 and 40 people. And what we're trying to do with those is really get some clarity as to what the community vision is. One of the concerns I have as an organizer is becoming I'm older than a lot of the people involved. I've been around the block more, et cetera, et cetera. So it's real easy to fall into that trap. And so what we're really trying to do is to decentralize the organizational process by using this method. And we're in the process of continuing that. We'll try to do a bigger event. We tried to do one of those in July, and it got very low turnout. And I think it had rained here for like 8 or 9 days in a row. And then it was sunny on Saturday and beautiful on Sunday when we had the event scheduled, so we had really low turnout, which that's cool too. You know, I mean, one of my beliefs is if you have an event, whoever comes are the people who should be there. You know, and so I don't get this very much. So that's kind of where what I'm about with this is I really think that as time passes and things continue to break down, because I feel like we've already passed the tipping point. And I know some people would say we haven't reached it yet, and some people,
yeah. Could you just clarify what you mean by tipping point? Because I know. Do you mean like?
Well, it means a lot of things.
No return?
It means like peak oil. It means the climate cycle has already
I just want to make sure that we were talking about this.
Ruptured to the point that we ain't gonna fix it. You know, we're gonna have to like refigure it out. As I didn't grow up in Maine. I grew up in southern Ohio. But when I moved to Maine in the late 70s, early 80s, there were no cardinals in Maine. There were no vultures, turkey vultures in Maine. No one in Maine knew what a possum was. Now all 3 of them are here, which is kind of cool in a way. But it's a clear indicia that things have changed climactically. Pheasants now live here year round and forever. And I don't hunt, and I'm a vegetarian, but pheasants were stocked in Maine because the winter killed them. So every spring they would hatch pheasants and release them so that in the fall people could hunt them, but you don't have to do that anymore. And so I mean there's a lot of that. A lot of things bloom early. Birds that should be eating bugs show up and the bugs haven't hatched yet or have hatched and have left. And so I think things have just it's past that point. So what needs to happen now, instead of woe is me, or maybe we can put a band-aid on it, is people need to begin thinking about how they're going to cope with these changes in the near and mid future. And I think it's, a lot of it's about sustainability. But I think that those solutions come best from the people who are on the ground, if you can get them to be aware of the problems. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, yeah. So would you say that a lot of the people who come to your potlucks are kind of on the same page as you in that?
Well, oh yeah. Sure.
You said with these potlucks, people come together and talk about their vision for the community. Can you put in words what that vision is, what all that encompasses? And
oh, wow, that's a big question. We use questions to theme the potluck. So the first question was, what is your vision of the greater Rockland bioregion 20 years from now? And that churned up some talk and thinking about what was wrong. Our fishery has completely collapsed here. It's because it's too dependent on big ships, and big ships from Europe and have come in here and depleted the fishery. So that's what the transportation system is so dependent on automobiles and trucks and all that you can't walk around town. And, it's dangerous to walk down the street. The next one was themed about what skills do you have. The question was, what skills do you have and what skills would you like to be able to acquire? And that was a little more of a whole story. So at that one we talked about, well, I know how to fix bikes. Maybe we should have a community bike shop. Or I know how to, do composting. Maybe we should find a way to have community composting. And the third meeting was, what kind of projects can we envision? And it was specifically operated in a way that we didn't want to flesh them out too much. We just wanted to come up with as many project ideas. So just kind of bare outlines of the bike shop. There's a lot of transportation. How to make the town walkable. Is it worthwhile to consider? Pedestrian bike paths versus having the streets be more bike friendly. There's a lot of artists in Rockland, and it's the combination of the politics with the artists that gets you things like let's plant tomatoes in with the petunias when no one's looking at night, like with your trowel.